So, anyone that has ever known me for any period of time, they've known that I've loved hockey for you know basically my entire life. Loved hockey, loved the sport, love everything about it. And I remember, of course, being a kid, growing up, watching my brother play, and we would always get these. We would always get these hockey supply catalogs. At the time, it was Kemp's Hockey Supply. I don't believe they're around anymore. Obviously, we're talking, we're talking, late 1980s here, getting into the early 90s. But it was interesting because I would watch hockey, and I would always be. You'd always see, the teams wearing their jerseys on the ice, and I remember always kind of looking at them, and I would be like, and I was always turned on by the Minnesota North Stars because, I mean, growing up in Fargo, we get the North Star games on the different local affiliates, and at the time, in the late 80s, getting into the early 90s, it was Midwest Sports Channel, which, of course, was, that was basically kind of the local affiliate for the Twin Cities here. And I always remembered, especially, before I started collecting, we'd get the catalogs in the mail, and, they would have all the jerseys in there. The home and the road. I mean, this is before thirds and everything, so it was just the two. It was just the home and the road. The white was worn at home, and the colored jerseys were worn on the road. And I would look at them, and I would just be like, "Wow, those are," and being like, "Wow, they're so nice looking." They were CCMs. They were CCM jerseys, by the way. CCM still to this day, to me, at least the way CCM used to make them, like this one, still the best jerseys out there. And I would look at them, and I would just be like, these jerseys are just amazing looking. And I would see, of course, the 1991 Minnesota North Stars, they go to the Stanley Cup final, and seeing that green on the ice with the white, the yellow, and the black, it looked so fantastic. It looked amazing. And I was never able to get one of those ones because by the time I really started collecting, they had already left. They were already on their way to Dallas. So there was no way to get that North Star jersey. Fortunately, when CCM came out with their vintage line, I was able to get that jersey. And that was actually one of the first ones, the first run of the CCM vintage line. I've got a couple of these. The first run of the CCM vintage line, this jersey was part of it. And I was like, I had to grab it. Not just because it's a fantastic design. It's a great look, and it's the type of jersey that definitely caught my eye, for sure. But I would see those in the catalogs, and I just was like, I was mesmerized by a lot of them. And then I went and I started collecting, and I went into it not really looking to get. I wasn't starting out. I was not looking to become a collector. I liked, the Tampa Bay and Ottawa were the two expansion teams. They had just come out, and their jerseys, we saw what the jerseys looked like. I thought they looked fantastic, and I thought, I'd like to, I'd love to get those. I think they looked amazing. To me, they looked amazing. And of course, we're talking 1992 here. 92, 93. And it just, they caught my eye. And Tampa, of course, was technically the first jersey that really kickstarted. That was the first jersey that I really got for my collection. Not knowing it would become a collection. And then, of course, for Christmas that year, I got Ottawa. Still not going into this thinking, I'm going to start collecting these jerseys. But then I would see different jerseys that would be in the stores and all that, and I would just be like, that looks awesome. And it looked amazing. And in one video that when this video goes up, that one should be on the channel, I talk about, what would catch my eye to buy a particular team, buy a particular jersey, or whatever else, good design, bad design, the kind of thing that literally would be eye-catching and be like, I have to have that. And the type of thing that would literally make you run into a store and want to get it. One thing, and of course, I started my collection out, it was CCM. CCM was the makers of the jerseys. I always thought the jerseys looked phenomenal. The material, the logos looked great, everything. And, CCM, they always had, CCM was always this. It was always this nice air knit type of material. The logos, of course, looked amazing. Fully embroidered logos. They look amazing. They look great. The quality is incredible. And those would always draw me. Like a lot of times, and this is before, like Nike came in, Starter, Pro Player, all that. And that's when I realized, as more jersey companies started coming in, I noticed exactly what ones I wanted to go with real quick. And Starter came in, and I just thought Starter looked awful. The material was awful. It looked cheap. It did not look good. The Starter jerseys to me just did not look good. The logos were horrible. They were all bubbly. It did not look that good. They didn't feel that good either. But when I started collecting, not knowing that I was going to be a collector, I started out with the two, and then I kind of started going from there, and I was like, okay, I wouldn't mind that one. And then I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind that one either. I wouldn't mind that one. I think when I really fully got into deciding that I wanted to get at least one jersey for every team, I believe when I made that decision, I was in I think I was tail end of high school, because the first jerseys I got was my freshman year, and I think by my junior year is when I actually was like, okay, I wouldn't mind having at least one jersey for all the teams. Now, mind you, all the teams at this time, when I started my collection, there were 21 teams, and then I started my collection, and that's when the NHL went to 23 teams because Tampa Bay and Ottawa came in. Then, of course, that following year came Florida and Anaheim, because this is during the time the NHL blew up expansion-wise. They went from 21 to 30 teams in the span of like 7 or 8 years. It was crazy. 1992 started. We went from we had 21 teams in 1991, And by the year 2000, we had 30. So the NHL just exploded with expansion. And so that kind of had me going like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to pull that off, be able to get one jersey for all the teams, because I'm like, well, the count keeps increasing. Because now there's more teams keep coming in. Well, hell, this is going to make it a little harder each time to achieve that goal. And it did. It took a long time to finally get at least one jersey for all the teams. I believe when I finally got the last one that I needed to have at least one jersey for all 30 teams, because I started collecting in 1992, I bet it was 2003, 03, 04. It took me over 10 years to be able to get at least one jersey for all the teams, for all 30 of the teams at the time. It's a long time. Took a long time. I mean, we're talking over a decade. I went into it, though, not looking to start being a collector. I went into it, I mean, I started out not thinking that I was going to become a jersey collector. I did not go into it thinking that. I just, here's a couple of jerseys. They look sweet. They look cool. I'd like to get them. And me, who loves to wear them, I'm like, I'll wear them to school. It'll be cool. I'll stand out and all that. Which, I mean, it definitely did. Some of them definitely stood out. Some of them still to this day I love to wear, and oh boy, do they stand out. And yeah, boy, does it get some good conversation starters. But I didn't go into jersey collecting initially wanting to become a collector. I didn't think I was going to start becoming a collector. It kind of happened. I started getting a couple of jerseys here or there, and yeah, probably about 1993 or 94 is when I said, all right, now I'd kind of like to get, at least one jersey for every team. And that's kind of when I officially became a collector, because that's when I really made the decision that I wanted to try and get at least one jersey for every team. And that's kind of how that started. And like I said, it took over 10 years. It took over 10 years to get to that point. And then I went from being just a collector to, well, now I have to have multiples of each team. Now I have to have multiples. And it basically has exploded into what we have here, what we have currently laying down here, which I need to find a spot to put all these. What I'm thinking I'll probably end up doing with those is I'll probably have to take a bunch of these down and put those back there, which is going to make that nice dowel back there. What I need to get is racks. I need to get some clothes racks, some big heavy-duty clothes racks to be able to hang all these up. That's what I'd like to do. Because it went from just being, I just want to get one jersey for every team to, well, now, then the third jersey started coming out and the multiples, and well, now I got to try to get all of these. But one big thing though that's still always and still to this day makes me, when I'm looking at particular jerseys, especially up close, it's the jersey material, it's what the material is made of, and it's the way the logo looks. The different designs of the logos. Because I did not like, when I was doing my collections, this is a starter jersey. This, to me, is an abomination. I'm sorry. I was never a fan of starter. I thought the material was cheap. It's just this kind of, it's not that great. The logos, of course, the logo. I mean, you can do this to the logos. They look fake. A lot of people would say they look fake, which is interesting when you go and say, you can look at a starter jersey. Well, it looks fake. And that's how you know it's probably real, because the starter jerseys were just I never liked the logos. The logos I thought were just, they fold up, they bubble. You can, you're not supposed to do this with a logo. You're not supposed to do that. You are literally not supposed to do that with a logo. A logo is not supposed to bend that way. It's not supposed to crumple like that. And that's why when they did the changeover initially from CCM / Coho to Reebok, the first jersey I ever looked at, it was an All-Star jersey. It was supposed to be for the All-Star game that year. And this was when it started becoming popular. I think football. I think the NFL kind of started doing this on some of their jerseys, where you would go and look, the names and the numbers were all done in this one layer printed vinyl. They went full-blown cheap material, awful, everything. I looked at this jersey, this All-Star jersey. It was a Reebok. It was when Reebok was initially doing the changeover, going over to the Reebok templates, which, yeah, the Reebok, boy, oh boy, what a, yeah. But the logo, it was the main logo. It was this one layer printed vinyl. And I looked at that and I said, this is what they're going for? This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing to the logos. As we've seen with some people who have that, the logos they fade. They start to fade. They start to just, where part of the logo is like peeling off or scraping off, or just, when you run it through a wash, it starts fading and going away, because it's all one layer printed vinyl. The printing goes away. You don't see that on the Reebok, or not the Reebok. You don't see that on the CCMs. The logos don't fade, but it literally. And I thought, that's what they're going for. I'm like, well, my collecting days are done. Then, fortunately, they kind of changed it, because a lot of people did not like that look. And they decided, okay, we'll go back to the embroidered logos on the front, but they kept the screen printed, the one layer vinyl printed logos on the shoulders. It looked better. It looked, the jerseys looked better with the smaller shoulder logos being that, but it still didn't look great, because they went away, because Reebok went away completely from the whole idea of fully embroidered shoulder logos. This is what, this is what CCM would do. This is a CCM. This is a fully embroidered shoulder logo. And it finally took it finally took Adidas going to their prime green to bring back the fully embroidered shoulder logos, which they should always be. Always. They always should have been that. And it just, because I go and I look at, let's see here. Yeah, here's a good, here's a good example. Now this is an Adidas, Arizona Coyotes. But I mean, now this isn't that one layer vinyl, fortunately, but it still is this. It's very similar to the starter logos. Very similar to the starter logos. It's not really embroidered, but it's printed. It's not fully embroidered at all. It's just this real malleable type of material. And it wasn't, to me, even that wasn't that great with Adidas. It wasn't that great. And then fortunately Adidas came out with the prime green and they went back to the embroidered shoulder logos, and fortunately that's how it has been, and it needs to stay that way. But yeah, when I started officially becoming the collector that I am, that's one thing that I would look at. I mean, does the design of the jersey, the way it looked, eye-catching for sure, but how do the logos look? How do the logos look? Are they fully embroidered? Do they look good? The CCM logos just always, to me, were so much better than the starter, than the pro player. I mean, I don't know about an authentic. People have said, the authentic pro players are fantastic. I've never seen an authentic pro player jersey up close, so I don't know. But I had seen the pro player jerseys, the replicas up close, and they were just They were the starter jerseys, just with a different name. And people have said pro player was awesome. Not to me. Not to me. They weren't. But I didn't see the authentic pro player jerseys either, so I don't know how those looked. I don't know how the material was. I don't know exactly how the authentic pro player jerseys looked. They didn't make them very long. They were only pro player was only around a year. So yeah, I didn't really see the pro player authentic jersey, so I can't really comment on how those looked. The Reebok, the pro player replicas were god awful because they were just starters with a different manufacturing name on it. But when I went into this whole collecting thing, yeah, I definitely did not go into it wanting to become a collector initially, but it kind of turned into that, and it's and now being a collector, I just keep trying to grow my collection. So I'd love to know, though, I mean, for any other collectors out there, what made you start collecting? Was there anything in particular? Was it a particular team that made you start collecting? Was it just, or was it similar to me that just I went and I got a couple of teams, and then I just would kind of look at some of the other ones and just all of a sudden was like, I'd kind of like to get one for every team. Was there anything in particular that drew you to wanting to become a collector? Because that's kind of what it was after a couple of years, and that's when I was like, I'd kind of like to get one for every team. And of course it has ballooned. I would say it is definitely ballooned into what we have here, what is behind there, what is currently right here, what is in these totes. Yeah, I got a bunch in totes down here, and in the other closet there, and I think there's still a couple of totes out in the in the shed, in one of our sheds out there. And again, what I would like to do is I would like to get at least a couple of clothes racks to be able to hang all of them on. And I mean all of them. Reebok, Adidas, all of them. All the ones that are in the totes down here, the ones back here, all of them. Heavy duty racks to be able to hang them all on. And, you know, and I even some that I've looked on Amazon, a couple, even like a couple of the double decker racks would be cool. Have some here and then have some hanging here. Nothing that's hanging on the floor, obviously, but where they're going to hold up well. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at. I would like to get a couple. I would like to get at least 2 of those. I probably would need at least 2, probably 3, hell, maybe even 4 with the amount that I've got, because I would love to be able to get an accurate count of exactly how many I have. I would love to get an accurate count because I guarantee I got a lot of them. I have to have at least 300, probably more, I would think, but I would love to get an accurate count just to see what my just getting one for all the teams and to see what it's ballooned to. I think it'd be kind of cool to see exactly how many I have. But let me know in the comments. Let me know your opinions in the comments. What made you start becoming a collector? Was it a particular team? Was it a particular jersey? Was it just, I'm just going to get a couple of teams and that's it? And then it turns into, well, now I'd like to get at least one for all the teams. What made that in your head go, I want to start doing that. I want to start becoming a collector. What made you go that route? I would love to know in the comments. Hit that like button. That would be great. It would be fantastic. Smash the like button if you would like. If you want to go and hit, punch that like button, go right ahead. Or just, do a little whoop, whatever. Also, hit that subscribe button because I would love to see you all back here again. Turn on the bell if you want to be notified anytime videos are uploaded. Hit that little bell. It will notify you whenever future videos are up. And go ahead and share this video. Share this video with everyone that you know. Share the video with everyone that you don't know. Let your friends and family know if they love hockey. Let them know about the channel. It would be fantastic. I'm just kind of getting my bearings on TikTok. Kind of figuring out how that works. I figured one thing I did figure out on a couple of things. I tried to link a couple videos to some thumbnails on TikTok. I can't link the video. I can't put actual working links on the videos apparently. But I can kind of say, here's, go to this or whatever. And so yeah, I'm still trying to get my bearings on TikTok to figure out how that works, because anything I can do to broaden the reach of the channel is what I would love to be able to do. And I'd love to be able to get I would love for my channel to reach the masses. I would love that. Reach the masses. It would be fantastic. So yeah, I'm still trying to get my bearings on that a little bit, but let me know what kickstarted your guys's collecting, as some people would call. I went from being a collector to being, I guess some people would say, obsessed. So what and so are some of you guys like that? Have some of you guys gone from just being a collector to into an obsession? Some people would say I have an obsession with collecting hockey jerseys. Tomato, I guess. But yeah, let me know. I would love to know what made you guys get into collecting jerseys. If you guys are collectors, out there. What made you guys start collecting? And, was it similar to me where it went from just, I'll just get a couple of teams to when I got to get some for all the teams to when I have to have multiples into what we have here. And this is just one part. I would love to know, though, in the comments. Let me know in the comment section. Again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video with everyone that you know and everyone that you don't know. And yeah, every hockey fan out there, I would love for all of you to join me here at Larry's House of Hockey. And yeah, jersey collecting, a lot of fun. And I definitely enjoy it. And yeah, to all the collectors out there, or to soon to potentially be collectors, and if you're just starting and wanting to be a collector and want to, know any little tips or whatever, I'm not a hard guy. I'm not a hard guy to find. And any questions out there, feel free to ask. So again, like, subscribe, comment, share. I will see you guys later.